What's up everyone, Jason Brown here, the king of programming. Today we're on part 3 of this 3-part video series. We're talking about my final training subscription. Little hint, we got a 4th training subscription coming, but make sure you're on my mailing list to get information about that because it's coming very soon. This is my 3rd training subscription called RX Athlete, and I remember to put the name in this time, which is always good. We're gonna start right now. Okay guys, RX Athlete. If you know anything about CrossFit, it probably sounds like kind of a CrossFit name. It is. Now this is a program that is not a CrossFit program per se. You're not gonna see any of the BS, beatdowns, kill yourself, constantly varied. None of that is in this program. However, this program does include things like Olympic lifting. It includes various types of conditioning, specifically anaerobic conditioning at the end of the strength sessions. It includes, big guess here, aerobic training. Aerobic training is the staple in all of my programs. It is in this program. This is a program that is the most rigid of my 3 programs. You need a minimum of 5 days to execute this program. So just to recap, Evolve, minimum of 3, CXC, a minimum of 4, and RX Athlete, a minimum of 5. I actually had to almost look at my hand before I did that to make sure I had the right amount of fingers up. So we got 3, 4, and 5, all right? And again, if any of this helps you guys, that's kind of the guiding light. I always ask people when I'm working with them one-on-one, what is the most amount of days you can commit to training that is something you know you can do under worst case scenario? Worst case scenario being everything in your life outside of the gym goes awry. What do you know that you can commit to? And oftentimes we get a different answer. I also find that people that have success with something in the past will use that as their guiding light for the future. The thing that got you to where you're at likely won't be the thing to get you to where you want to go. That's how it works with training. That is why I'm sitting here telling you, I don't train the same way I used to. I don't train the same way I did in my 30s, definitely not my 20s. And you know, we have to evolve. So if you're not evolving, you're dying. Listen to your body. If you need to do less training, it doesn't mean you're gonna lose gains. You just need to get on a good program. That's what we're here for. So with that said, let's go through, make sure I got my screen on here so you can see what I see. Let's go through RX Athlete. As I said, this is the most rigid program. It requires the most time. It requires that you have a fair level of experience. You know how to Olympic lift. We do a little bit of gymnastics, but this is, again, someone that's committed, that's really committed and has the extra time. If that's not you, that doesn't mean that doing a lesser program, you're gonna get lesser results. The program that works best for you is the program that aligns with what you can commit to training. So if committing 70 minutes per session, 5 days a week is not for you, then there are plenty of options for you. So let's go through this split. Just to give you a quick breakdown, there's similarities with this program that are similar to my Evolve full body program. So we have 3 full body strength days. I find full body training to be a great fit when we're doing a lot of elements of training. It allows us to reduce overall soreness, to put in high levels of intensity and do a lot of different things on a day-to-day basis. So you might think, and it's funny, in the past I would use the conjugate method, and over time, I changed my ideas. I changed my opinion on what is a better fit for something like the sport of fitness. And for me, it would be more full body training, because if we're overly sore because we did a squat cycle or something like that, it can take away from the conditioning pieces that we're doing. And that's something we don't want. So this program is made up of 3 full body strength days. On each of those strength days, we culminate the day with some anaerobic or higher intensity aerobic conditioning. We've got 2 set aerobic days, and then we've got a 3rd aerobic day on Saturday, which is the optional day of the week that does include some skill work and of course, some additional aerobic work. So a lot of moving parts here, but if this is, speaking to you and you're like, yes, I want the challenge, then it's a great program to go with. So just like all my other programs, we've got a warm-up sequence. We've got specific elements to this program, like a main lift, in this case, a pause front squat. We've got some neutral grip pull-ups, a press, a hinge. So we've got single leg, upper pull, press, and a hinge movement as our main strength elements. And then we culminate the day with some air bike work and some kettlebell work. Again, very high threshold, long rest between movements. So we've got 3 minutes rest between rounds of that sequence there. And then we culminate with a cool down. Okay, so this is a heavy full body day, which culminates with some anaerobic conditioning. If you're like me and love optimizing your health and performance, love cookies and tacos, subscribe to my once weekly newsletter, EWOD. There's zero pressure, zero spamming to join, and a lot of value to gain. And as a special thank you, I'll send you a discount code to any of my training subscriptions. The link is in the description. See you on the inside. Day 2 of the week, we go into mixed modality style conditioning, cyclical components, body weight components, even some burpee box jumps. And again, some things that you would see more common in the CrossFit world. But as I said, if you're looking for constant variance, CrossFit style all over the place, this ain't the program for you. We do the same things for 3 weeks at a time, just like we do in my other programs. That allows us the best way to progress, build intensity, but also build motor control and get better with the movements that we're doing and not have to think as much so we can focus on the training. So this is a phenomenal day, 6 exercises. These are hard sessions, even looking at this stuff here. This is a program that I have personally experimented with quite a bit. It's a little bit too hard for me where I'm currently at. I prefer more evolved, but again, if you're looking for the ultimate challenge, this program will do it and do it in an intelligent way so you're not run down and overtrained and injured. That stuff has no place in any of my programs. So let's move on to day 3 of the week where we have another full body strength session, but in this case, we're gonna do some speed work for the upper body as well as some speed work for our hinge patterns. We've got a speed bench press, we've got a band resistant kettlebell swing, and then we have a giant set of some hinge, press, and face pull. All the rest intervals are here. You guys probably hear me harp on the rest intervals. All the rest intervals are in my programs, every single one. So just remember that you're never gonna be like, oh, how long do I rest or what do I do? It's all there for you. Attention to detail, dot the I's, cross the T's, it's all there for you. And then we culminate this day with another conditioning piece of calories on the rower or ski erg and landmine thrusters, and it's 100 total reps, resting 60 seconds between rounds. So brutal piece, but something that you should be able to sustain. And we give guidance for this in the notes. So you'll see, hey, what are we doing today? What are the goals of the power work? What are the goals of our accessory work? What is the goals of the conditioning? All that stuff is laid out for you so you understand what's happening. Moving on to day 4, aerobic conditioning. This happens on all my programs on Thursday, Tuesday and Thursday, sometimes Saturday, depending on the program, you're gonna see some aerobic training. And in this case, we've got a longer conditioning piece, more cyclical, 60 plus minutes, where we're just going and sustaining ourselves, staying in zone 2, and that's kind of it. It's not super sexy, but it works. It does everything we need it to do, and it's going to allow you to be better on all ends, whether it's in the gym or outside of the gym. Moving on to day 5 of the week, some power cleans. As I mentioned, there's a little bit of Olympic lifting in this program, but not a ton. If you're thinking of like a traditional CrossFit program that just goes crazy with full snatches, snatch variations, clean and jerk variations, and a lot of different stuff in there, that's not it with this program. You're gonna see that kind of done on a kind of minimum effective dose level. Some single leg work, and then this Friday session of this program I really love, because usually what I do is some type of GPP finisher, if you will, where we're doing 4 or 5 things, and it's a combination of sometimes accessory work. In this case, we have some upper body rowing, we've got some carries, we've got some sled work, as well as some more power cleans, but more touch and go style, so more cycling the barbell, and then we culminate with our cool down. So that's it, Monday through Friday. Those are the required days of this program that you need to be able to do to get the most from it. And of course, if you can do the 6th day, even better. In this case, we're doing some skill work where we're doing a few different gymnastics holds. Again, not super hard stuff, but if you're not familiar with that stuff already, it's probably gonna be like, oh, what is this? I don't even understand. I've never even done an L-sit hold. I've never even done alternating pistol practice. Again, those are things that are gonna be more comfortable for someone that came from the CrossFit world and just wants to maintain some of those elements, but do it in a more intelligent way. That's something we have going for some skill work. And then we've got a partner conditioning mixed modality style conditioning piece across, let's see, we got 8, about 32 minutes of work there. So this is a phenomenal program, but as I said, just to recap here, it requires a minimum of 5 days. It requires that you have knowledge of the Olympic lifts and some gymnastics work, and it's going to require that you have more time to train per session. Usually about 60 minutes is the low end. 75 to 80 minutes would be the high end that we'll see for these training sessions. So definitely gonna be a challenge, but this program is for a very specific person that, again, aligns with all those things. Maybe that's you right now. Maybe use this program for the next year and then you transition to something like Evolve. I found that people that are coming from CrossFit, sometimes going into a program like Evolve is like a big transition from they're used to just beating themselves up, constant variance. So this is sometimes a good transition for those people. And eventually they realize that, you know what? I need to be more mindful on how I'm feeling. I need to train a little bit less. I've got kids now. Those things come into the fold and all of a sudden we need to start thinking about a different training program. And that's usually what happens where we evolve. And that's why the program is called what it's called, because I evolved in my own training, and that was a representation of that. So with that said, I've covered 3 different training programs that all have very specific goals. They're for a very specific person. Just to kind of recap, Evolve is for someone that has 3 days per week to train, likely been training longer. Probably, I would say 9 out of 10 of you train from home, have a home gym, a well-equipped home gym. That's gonna be a great program for you. For CXC, Conjugate X Conditioning, this is a program that wants for people that wanna focus on strength and power. And then RX Athlete is just kind of the holy grail. It's everything. We're doing a lot of different qualities fitness. It's a harder program, requires at least 5 days per week. So again, 3 days minimum, 4 days minimum, 5 days minimum. And that is it for today. And remember guys, results are king. If you're an experienced everyday athlete and you're looking for the best training on planet Earth, check out my free training subscriptions. A 7-day free trial link is in the description.
Best program available on the internet today.
I think it's very difficult to find a trainer like Jason.
Since joining Everyday Heroes, I feel like I've stopped working out and actually started training.